All right, everyone, we're back. Been a minute, but we're here. We're back. We've seen a lot of shit. This is probably going to be, at least in terms of substance, our biggest episode because we saw a lot of things since we last put out an episode, which at this point, what was that, 2 months ago, maybe? I
Damn near
don't know.
2 months. Damn near 2 months. And I saw what you did there with some substance. I like what you threw in
Mhm,
there.
mhm.
But yeah, I was looking. September 18th was the last time we published a pod. So that means we probably
Jesus.
podcasted a few days before that. So it's been almost 2 months,
It's
which is
been,
crazy. I mean, we've both been super busy. There
yeah,
wasn't a ton of movies coming out at once. And then all of a sudden we got some. And
yeah,
then it's in that span, I've had like three different weddings to go to, a few different surprise birthday parties to go to, and like now a shitload of movies have come out. So I think
exactly.
I've seen six since the last episode, and you've seen even more than that somehow.
Yeah, oh boy. So if you've seen six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, okay, I saw six too, I
Okay, there
guess,
we go.
somehow. Feels like I saw more, but no, the ones we both saw. So yeah, even more than that.
Yeah. Well, we're not
Um,
dead yet. Everybody will be happy to know we're not dead yet. We're still
yeah, not
going.
yet.
I think now we're gonna have
Uh,
some more shit that'll come out soon, pretty soon. I know we have like one next week that's gonna be pretty good, Heretic, and then
yeah,
it'll
Gladiator.
start to wind down into Oscar season eventually before we know it.
And then we get our award show, which everyone knows is better than the Oscars.
That's goddamn right it is.
True, true. We got was just talking to Ty right before this, got a new entry here in the top five according to our ratings. So we'll see what that is in a little bit. So let's get into it, Ty. I'm going to briefly talk about these movies that are coming out this week because honestly, most of them, no one gives a shit about. That's just sadly the truth. But let's do it. Absolution. Agent Gangster attempts to reconnect with the children and rectify the mistakes of his past, but the criminal underworld won't loosen their grips willingly. It's Ron Perlman, Liam Neeson. We kind of know Liam Neeson movies at this point. They're just going to kind of be fast, action packed. Probably not the best story.
He's always an aging gangster or an aging mobster or like aging hitman in every single movie he's in now.
Aging Jedi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
so probably not one I'm too excited about. Next one here is called Here, a generational story about families in the special place they inhabit, sharing the love, loss, laughter, and life. And we get Forrest Gump and Jenny back, Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, and the same director as Forrest Gump. So obviously the director Robert
Yep,
Zemeckis
nailed
loves
that.
Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, brings him back for another one. This one, I didn't hear shit about it, haven't seen trailers or anything. But just that kind of the gangs back together, that does excite me a bit.
That is crazy. I didn't realize it was Jenny in it. That's absolutely fucking nuts. I did just see about it today that Zemeckis was bitching because it pretty much bombed at the movie theater
Yeah.
because nobody knew about this. Nobody knew what it
Yeah.
was. It got no marketing. I haven't heard of this.
No one
I
said
think
shit about it.
if people would have known that this was Jenny and Forrest, essentially, they would have been like, hell yeah, I'd go see that.
Go in.
But I mean, now it completely flopped. I have no idea how much it did, but
That's on them.
yeah, that's completely on them. And apparently, people are like up in arms because they just use a shitload of de aging on Tom Hanks and shit to make him look young. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. You gotta play that safe. It's kind of tough to do.
Yeah.
Next one here, juror number 2, family man Justin Kemp, who, while serving as a juror in a high-profile murder trial, finds himself struggling with a serious moral dilemma. One he could use to sway the jury verdict and potentially convict or free the wrong killer. So this is Clint Eastwood directing.
This is
Um,
supposed to be actually really good.
yeah, it does seem like it's good. Most everything Clint has directed has been pretty solid.
I actually do want to see this one.
You can-
And it's still crazy that he's still directing movies.
old as piss.
It's got to be his last one. I think that might have been in news like a couple months ago. We were like, this Clint Eastwood's final film directed. Unless
Yeah?
I'm wrong, unless it's not his actual final film and he's just fucking going to keep on putting him out. But he's damn near 100, right? He's like 90 something.
Yeah, 1930 he was born.
Jesus.
So he an old boy. But yeah, as far as
90.
IMDb knows, there's no more upcoming movies for him directing wise.
Okay, so maybe this is it, but I don't know.
Maybe
We'll
it.
see, I guess.
Nicholas Holt, who's Nux in Mad Max, Beast and X-Men, Tyler in The Menu, Tony Collette, who's Annie in Hereditary, Joni in Knives Out. She's in a lot of things. And then Leslie
Ensemble
Bibb.
cast.
Yeah, Leslie Bibb from the Iron Man movies. And J.K. Simmons. He just kind of pops in every now and then.
Mm, Yep.
So, yeah, that's probably the one on this list I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I think honestly, same here. And it's really good for old Clint to be going out on a bang like this. If this is a
That's
really
right.
good movie, I think this might be getting like Best Picture hype.
Okay.
Because
And speaking of,
I think I was just looking at Best Picture favorites today, and
well, I wonder if they changed since I looked.
yeah, I think there was. I didn't take them down, but there was a couple that are either coming out soon or already out.
Because that kind of goes perfectly into this next one. Emilia Perez is currently fifth favorite in odds for Best Picture. Hasn't even come out yet, which is wild.
Wow.
So, in Mexico, a lawyer receives an unexpected offer to help a feared cartel boss retire from business and disappear forever by becoming the woman he's always dreamed of. Wait, what? By becoming the woman he's always dreamed of being. Okay, I'm not going to get into that, but that is what that says. But it is Zoe Saldana. So, oh God, Gamora
Yep. Yep.
and Selena Gomez. So that is who that is. But yeah, currently fifth favorite for Best Picture. Has pretty high ratings already from critics. And let me just confirm if that is still the case. Yep, it is still fifth
Okay.
overall in ratings at for odds at plus 800.
And I'm also seeing, is this a Netflix joint?
Ooh, it may be. That would not surprise me. Emilia Perez. It no.
No, Variety is wrong on their
Go
list.
going to theaters, it looks like.
Okay, so they might be pushing it out to theaters first. That's
Yeah.
cool. I still think that the odds on, I'm looking right now, the odds on favorite is Enora, which I am going to see this
Yeah.
week for sure. I can't
Okay.
wait to see this movie. Everybody's been saying it's the best movie of the year, and that
Good.
Mikey Madison, who was in, she's been in a couple things, but she was the girl in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think she gets the shit beat out with a can of dog food and then lit on fire and falls into the pool.
Hell yeah.
That was her, but that movie is going to be hype. I can't wait for that. It's out now, but limited, super
Yeah.
limited, which is weird, especially
And,
for being the odds on Best Picture favorite.
and it is rocking right now. 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, 91 on Metacritic.
Yeah, so that's
That's
like right
wild.
there on the list.
Who is this director? Sean Baker.
I've heard of him.
He's done The Florida Project, Red Rocket. Okay. So he's
Red
got
Rocket
some
was a good
Oscars.
movie.
Yeah. All right, cool. Good for him.
I think it might have been nominated or close to it, or maybe something, but
Red Rocket.
maybe for
Florida Project
Globes.
with Willem Dafoe.
Oh, okay.
All right. Red Rocket has 12 wins. It won. No one knows those awards. A lot of independent awards.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Austin film. Yeah, nothing huge.
Okay,
Probably because it is
it's about a dude that's fucking yeah.
the last one here. I actually did see some ads for this while watching football yesterday, but A Real Pain. Jesse Eisenberg is starring in it, directing, and wrote it. And he's doing this movie with Kieran Culkin. No description here at all. But yeah, I saw the trailer while watching some football, and apparently also had a small release
Yeah.
at some festivals and looking pretty good.
It's supposed to be really good, and it's so funny. I just saw this one today too. Whenever I looked up the best pictures, this was one of the favorites. So I want to see it too. I like Kieran Culkin. I like Jesse Eisenberg. So maybe it'll be sweet.
Awesome. But Ty, that's all I got here for upcoming movies that we care about.
Right,
Let's hop
right.
into some news.
I've been taking down news since September 18th. So there's a lot here, but I'm going to go into a little about a lot. So not a ton about each, but a good bit of variety here. The first one, and one of the biggest ones, though, is the Wayans brothers are reuniting for the Scary Movie reboot. I think we might have talked about this a couple months ago in news somehow, saying that it was coming back, but they are reuniting for the first time in 18 years for a new original screenplay. It's going to shoot next year for a theatrical release with the Wayans and Rick Alvarez writing and producing the movie. No idea who Rick Alvarez is, but I'm sure he's probably worked with them on other stuff like that before. There's so many horror movies that they can make fun of. I think this could be funny or it could just be really bad. But given it's the Wayans, I think they'll probably be on the funnier side than on the bad side. So I think once they stepped away from writing and directing was whenever they got really bad. But the oldest Wayans brother who directed the first two, those were like the best two. So we'll see how they go.
Rick Alvarez is apparently the producer for all of those stupid movies, like the scary movies, White Chicks, Little Man, Haunted House.
Okay, all the
He
movies
did all
that they've done with the one. Okay, another one of the biggest things in news here is that Tom Holland is going to star in Christopher Nolan's latest film.
Ooh.
So he's joining Matt Damon in what they're calling the Top Secret movie. Nobody knows much about it yet. Nolan did write the script and he's directing though, which Universal Pictures is going to distribute. Apparently, I think it was Warner Brothers or somebody tried to give him a bag to come back and direct with them, but he's sticking with Universal because I think they put out Oppenheimer too. But it has a release date of July 17th, 2026, so still a ways away. Plot details are being kept under wraps. Sources say it's not set in present day, but it's not sure it's going to be in the past or the future. But speaking of Tom Holland, he's going to have a busy year next year with this, Spider-Man 4, and Avengers Doomsday all filming. So that'll be cool, I guess. Which is July 2020 or July 24th, 2026 release date for Spider-Man. I think it comes out a couple weeks after or before, I don't know. Okay, it's 2 months after Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man 4 comes out. So get excited for that. We'll see if that. I kind of am excited for Doomsday. I don't want to hype it up too much, but I'm kind of excited for that. That's a whole other bag of hammers, though.
Yeah.
Godzilla Minus One's director is making another Godzilla movie. His name is Takashi Yamazaki, I think, and he's going to write and direct and supervise the visual effects. No further details were announced yet about the movie, including whether or not it's a sequel to Minus One or not, or a standalone entry. So that's exciting because Minus One was not even just a good Godzilla movie; it was just a good movie.
Yeah.
So that's going to be awesome. Looking forward to that either way. Hopefully it's a sequel though. They kind of left off on a cliffhanger there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Godzilla minus 1.5 or Godzilla minus 2 or something like that.
Or just 0.
Godzilla minus 1, 2, and Godzilla minus 12.
Part 2. ED.
Moving on here, we have another Stephen King adaptation. Apparently, it's going to be Carrie, and it's going to be 8-episode series for Amazon with Mike Flanagan to be the showrunner. He's previously did Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining, and he also did the Gerald's Game movie. Apparently, they were knocking around doing an idea of doing a version of The Dark Tower too. Which didn't they already do a movie of, and it sucked?
Yeah, it was really bad. McConaughey.
Yeah. So that's apparently shit. Who knows? Apparently, this guy really likes doing Stephen King stuff though. So more power to him.
I just hate that it's Carrie again.
I know. That's exactly what I was just about to say. This has got to be one of the most remade or rebooted King novels. It's just like how many times now? A couple more things here. We have Blade that was removed from Marvel's release calendar. It was dated for November 7th, 2025, but instead, and this is going to lead into my next couple bits of news, Disney will release Predator Badlands, which is the 6th film in the Predator franchise, in November, where it was going to be Blade. I'm willing to bet that this movie isn't even going to get made. I think Wesley Snipes called it, just like in Deadpool and Wolverine, there's only going to be one Blade. So wouldn't be surprised. But speaking of Predator, Badlands is only the beginning. Apparently, there's 2 new Predator movies coming out next year. They're both directed by the guy who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, Dan Trachtenberg. I think Elle Fanning is supposed to star in Predator Badlands. And the other one's being kept under wraps and kind of secretive, but it was also directed by Trachtenberg, and it's likely some kind of streaming movie that's going to come out before Badlands. That's what they're saying. And then apparently, with all the new Alien movies coming out as well, in the Alien series, Alien Earth, apparently this is going to lead into some culmination with Alien versus Predator again. But it's going to come more organically than it did in the first time they did that. So we'll see how they make that work. That should be cool, especially because the movies have only gotten better since the first time they did Alien versus Predator. I think Prey was one of the better movies in those entire franchises, and Romulus was sweet. But speaking of Alien Romulus 2 is now in the works. They are going to continue the story of the first movie, and Fede Alvarez is potentially returning to direct. Of course he's going to direct. It's his story, so I'm sure he'll be back for that one. Next year, we have... Are you familiar with the Outlast video games?
Oh, yeah. Played them.
So I never played them too much. I kind of thought they were a little boring just walking around with the camera. I need a little more action in my horror games. But Lionsgate, we all know Lionsgate. They're the studio that brought us Saw, all that. And Red Barrels, who's apparently the horror genre video game developer, they have announced the deal to bring Outlast horror to the big screen. So prolific film horror producer Roy Lee, he did It, Barbarian, Late Night with the Devil, and Strange Darling, which is on my list. I still need to see Strange Darling. Apparently, it's really good.
We're going to talk about that later.
Okay, there we go. Good. He's going to either write it or whatever, produce it. Like I was saying, though, I never really played too many of these games. I do think it will be a good movie, though.
Yeah.
I also... These games kind of go hand in hand with The Evil Within for me, because I think they both came out around the same time. They're both on Game Pass and shit all the time. I'd like to see that B movie too. Believe it or not, there's still two more things of news here. um, we have a Game of Thrones movie in early development, apparently. So Warner Bros. Has been quietly developing at least one film set in the Game of Thrones universe. Apparently, like they said, it's just in very early stages of development with no filmmaker, cast, or writer yet attached. But they're keen on exploring the idea of a Westeros movie. However they do that, I don't know. The original Game of Thrones series writers, Benioff and Weiss, who we all agree, fuck them. They apparently wanted to conclude the series with 3 movies instead of the season finale. And even George R. R. Martin was fine with doing that. But back in the day, HBO wanted to keep it a strictly prestige HBO series. So that just went and shit the bed. I don't know what they're going to do here. I'm kind of sick of these little side stories. I feel like if they're going to do this, it better just follow that bastard Jon Snow in some cool way to try to retcon the bullshit ending of the series.
Yeah.
I'm over all these Seven Kingdoms Knights and the fucking whatever. I want White Walkers, dragons, and I want that goddamn bastard Jon Snow. So we'll see. And then the last one here. It wouldn't be a spoiler alert news segment without an update on the Pooniverse. So now we have Pinocchio Unstrung, it's called. And the guy that plays Freddy Krueger has joined the cast, Robert Englund. So they're stepping it up here. They're bringing in like well-known horror actors now, which is shocking. But he played obviously Freddy Krueger. He's going to apparently star in Pinocchio Unstrung, the latest standalone feature to join the now so-called Twisted Childhood universe. They're still calling it Pooniverse too, but Twisted Childhood universe is what they keep going by now. Richard Brake, who is a regular collaborator of Rob Zombie, and I guess he's done stuff for Barbarian and Mandy. He also joined the film in the role of Geppetto. So 2 pretty well horror guys attached to this movie. And I did put the first look of the actual fully practical Pinocchio doll there.
Yeah.
Kind of weird looking. It looks just, I don't think it's finished yet. I guess it's not painted. It just looks kind of just like wood and clay, I guess. I'm not afraid of that little guy. I think I could fuck him up. So,
across the room.
But it is being directed by the same guy, the same duo that did Blunted Honey and all those other ones. It's going to feature young James as he learns of his grandfather Geppetto's deadly secret, Pinocchio. So, I don't know. Summer 2025 release date, apparently. But before that, we are going to get Bambi the Reckoning coming out early next year. So that is going to be huge. I can't wait for that. And that's the end of news. There was a shitload of stuff there. So a lot to look forward to. I'm excited for Scary Movie. I think got all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got excited for that too once it was finally confirmed. You know, they've been talking about it forever. What movies do you think they do? Like Terrifier has to be in there. Art the Clown has to be.
Gotta be Terrifier. I think they're probably gonna do something with like Megan, I would bet, like the AI stuff.
AI.
I'm trying to think anything else. Probably Scream again. I think they should try to get like people are saying like Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera to join it because they got kicked out of Scream or whatever. They stopped doing Scream.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if they go back to Scream too. I'm trying to think anything else.
Maybe some Beetlejuice again.
Maybe some Beetlejuice. Maybe some Evil Dead in there. Who knows? They have a lot of options.
They do. All right, Ty. Speaking of creepy little guys, you got a creepy little guy here in Billy the Puppet, which means it's time to play the game.
He's always got a different picture every time we see him.
There's so many different ones, and I try to be different every time. This one he has like little red slippers on that are kind of weird, like Wizard of Oz. But Ty, we're gonna do a draft. You know how much we like fantasy football, so we're gonna do a draft. So we're gonna draft horror franchises, so like entire franchises.
Okay.
Not just single movies. And after we do our draft, we're both going to pick 3 franchises. Okay. You're going to get a point if it's in the top 5 in all-time box office, and a point if it's in the top 5 for average IMDb rating. I've not looked at these. I wanted to make it fair. So I'm not like cheating here. But I wanted to make it fair. And hopefully we can get some of these. I have some in mind. But Ty, I will let you go first with the number 1 overall draft pick.
Okay, so not specific movie, just franchise.
Whole franchise.
Give me Saw. There's been a lot of them. They have to be there.
That's true.
There's been 11.
Oh, man, that's good. That's a good one. I'll go for the one we just saw, which is Alien.
Okay, I think I'll go with Hal.
Let's do whole franchises. I'll do Friday the 13th.
Okay. I'm gonna do The Conjuring.
There's so many of those.
I know. I just thought
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
I think that might be some value there.
Ring. All right, I got one last one. I'll do Scream. There's
Okay.
been there's been a lot of them, so I think the box office should be high up there. I am worried about the overall rate. That part kind of scares. So all right, let's go back and forth. So Ty, you started with Saw. Saw is in 1, 2, 3. Saw is number 5 on the list. So that's a
Oh,
point. That's a point
okay. I'll take it.
for box office. It has made 1.17. I'm sorry, 1.13 billion dollars.
Wow. Okay.
For average rating, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is not in the
Oh,
top
okay.
5. It has a 6.2
Oh,
average rating.
I didn't think it was gonna be
Wow.
great.
Yes. So some of those middle movies, they really tanked it down.
Yeah.
All right. So my number one pick, I had Alien. Alien is number 2 in
Point.
overall box office. So there's a point there at $1.65 billion.
Yeah.
Rating, it is one,
It's gotta be pretty
two,
high up there.
it is tied for third. So another
Oh,
point there. Halloween. Halloween.
I thought this one was gonna be up there, but now I'm thinking otherwise.
So it's second in number of films. There's 13 of them. However, it is number 10 in
God
box office,
damn.
886 million. And
Shit.
then for rating, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it gonna make it? There's one more in there. So it is number 6 in rating. So no
Shit.
points for Halloween.
I'm gonna need Conjuring to step it up big.
Friday the 13th. Come on, give me money, give me money. Friday the 13th isn't in the top 10 in either. All right. So, all right, that's kind of a wash. I'm currently up by 1.
Okay.
Conjuring has me fucking scared. So, The Conjuring. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Number 1
There it is.
by a lot. $2.4 billion.
Oh my gosh.
So, there's a point for that. For rating, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is actually, it's tied with Halloween
Wow.
for ratings. So right now we are tied. I need 1 point.
Shit.
Come on, Scream. So Scream is fuck me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eighth in
Oof.
box office. So no points for that. Overall or average score, 1, 2, tied for third with Alien at a
Oh,
7.0. Give me the
wow.
win.
That's nice.
That was
I was gonna
Costello.
I thought that they were gonna be higher for the Scream movies.
Yeah. The I mean, honestly, if we wanted to give bonus points, I think you got it for the fucking 2.4 billion because the highest overall average rated franchise, at least in this list, is Hannibal. So the Hannibal Lecter movies.
Shit.
That makes sense because Silence of the Lambs is, up there, considered a classic. I just didn't really think of it as a franchise, but apparently there's 5.
Yeah. How about the Insidious movies? Are they up there at all? I'm thinking that was gonna be my next pick if we had
No,
a late round pick. No?
it is not in the top 10 at least. See if I keep
Okay.
scrolling if there's
I'm
something.
glad I didn't pick them then. I'm glad I went Conjuring instead of Insidious.
No. No, 81. Oh, that's just the first Sidious. But average score is a 5.7.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah. If they should have stuck with the one. Forget the franchise shit with them.
Uh-huh. That first one was great, except for
Yeah.
the guy looking
I
like
love the
Darth
first.
Maul.
That's true. True.
He was terrifying the whole
Um,
movie until you see that guy, and he just I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, that's Darth Maul."
When you get the glimpses and the jump scares, that's
Yeah.
scary. But then you see him
Uh-huh.
up there playing this little organ, and I'm like, okay,
Yep.
that's stupid. Looking at this list, one I didn't even think of, and it's third in total box office. Resident Evil,
Oh my god.
1.24 billion with 10 movies.
That's shocking.
Horrible rating though, a 6, which is
Yeah, not great.
second to last. Last is the paranormal. Last in ratings is Paranormal Activities. There are fucking 6 of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the first one might have been the only one that had decent reviews.
Yeah, I remember watching that in my dad's basement with Frank for the first time. We watched it together, in my dad's basement. All the lights out, scared the piss out of us. We didn't sleep that night. But yeah, that was another Game with Billy Halloween edition. Halloween's over, but still, Halloween movies are some of the best.
It felt good to have a game with Billy, especially right around Halloween. We had to.
And we didn't get the Saw movie this year, so we're just filling that void.
That's true. We really did get fucked.
Yeah, pissed me off. Let's hop into our next segment here. I'll kick it off, Ty, for the Convince Me to Seize or not. I'll do 2 in a row here since it seems like I have a handful more than you do. So I'll do 2, then you'll do the 1, and we'll just switch back and forth in the order we have it here till we're all done, because there's a fucking lot.
Yeah, there is a lot.
So I'm going to start with Wolves, which, if you haven't heard of it, that probably makes sense.
I have not.
Is Apple TV Plus movie. They don't get a lot of publicity or anything unless you have a Apple TV Plus account or an Apple TV in general. No, there's no real like advertising for them.
Uh-huh.
Like the only time I've seen advertising for an Apple TV Plus movie was what was the Native American one with Leo and De Niro? Oh my gosh. It was a disappointment.
Flower Moon?
Yeah. Yep, that's
Okay.
it. That's it. That was the only one I've ever really seen advertised because that also went to theaters. This did not. So this is the gangs all back together, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and essentially they're quote unquote fixers for when a high level person, politician, billionaire, whatever has a problem. These people come in and they fix the problem. Starts out with a politician, Amy Ryan. She accidentally kills a hooker. Or so she thought. And she calls this number that she was given to by a friend. They're like, oh, you're a fixer. You fix things. But she calls this guy and it's George Clooney. He starts fixing shit. You know, he's going to clean things up. The hotel she's staying at also has their own fixer, who is Brad Pitt. So essentially, these two guys are there to do the same job. They don't like that. They want only one of them to do the job. They have conflicting ideas of how to do things. It's pretty interesting for the first half, I would say, maybe a little bit longer, but it quickly turns into the same old Brad Pitt, George Clooney movies where it's just kind of repetitive. They're going to make fun of George Clooney for being older than Brad Pitt, but they're both handsome guys. So that obviously gets talked about a lot as well. And it just ends up basically going nowhere. A lot of very common tropes are in this film as well, such as, oh, these guys are fixers. They're quote unquote bad guys that do bad things to help bad people. But when it comes time to do something actually bad, they're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want that to be me anymore. I'm like, dude, fuck you. Like, that's your whole job.
Literally.
So that pissed me off. That's why I ended up a 5. I don't think it's worth watching. You've seen this movie dozens of times, I would bet.
Yeah. That does make me upset because this does have a lot of potential. John Watts
it did.
directed all this new Spider-Man movies. So that's cool. Clooney and Pitt, they're solid. I like, the idea of the movies about the wolves because there's a big wolf guy in fucking Pulp Fiction. He fixes everything.
Right.
So it's cool enough concept, but that just sucks that it falls short.
Yeah. Like if you've seen any of the Oceans 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, it's like that, except instead of a heist, they're getting rid of a body. So that's how I felt about it. There was no acting. Brad Pitt played Brad Pitt. George Clooney played George Clooney. A little disappointment there. Next one here is a Netflix movie called Woman of the Hour. Apparently this came out in a short release last year in 2023, but now that it's on Netflix, everyone's watching it. And
yeah,
it is
I just realized
you saw this?
I saw this too.
Perfect. Let's do a mini.
Yeah, I don't have a lot because I didn't really take anything down because I didn't even think to take stuff down. I didn't even put it on Letterboxd. I don't have to do that. It was cool. It was decent enough, I thought.
Yeah,
you take the lead on this one because you must know more about it. You took more down.
Sure. So true story.
Didn't know there was a true story.
That was what made the movie more watchable than it probably would have otherwise. Like if this wasn't based on a true story, I don't know how much I would care. But yeah, true story about the serial killer who so happened to be on one of those dating shows, like number 3. What kind of ice cream would you eat off me? Shit like that. So that was true, and basically he kept getting away with shit. He's been reported multiple times, and no one did anything about it. And you get whiplash, honestly, from the editing in this movie, from the action, the flash forwards.
It was very confusing. That was annoying a little bit. I couldn't remember like what it would say dates like this is before or after.
Yeah, it's like I don't remember what the last date you put was.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's like
it's like they
shit.
could have just been like, "Oh,
They
2
were like
years
they were
ago."
like exactly. They should have done 2 years ago or 2 years after that or 5 years. They did like they were all in the 70s or something like that. It's like I don't fucking know what time it is right now, let alone what fucking year that is.
So, it's cool that it's a true story. I mean, not cool that serial killer is real, but, like,
Mhm.
the amount of killings this dude had, like, at the end, they said they think the real number is, like, 120.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's absurd.
That's wild. It was so easy to be a serial killer back then.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like,
Just move along.
yeah, just don't be there.
Yeah. So,
The guy was really good at being a psycho.
yeah, that let's call him out too. Danny Savato was his name.
He looked kind of I can't put a
He was
finger
in
on it. And
Oh
it
my
follows and don't breathe.
he's in that fucking piece of shit. I
The Pope's
hated him.
Exorcist?
Oh, really?
What's so random
So
here?
he's just creepy, man, and random shit.
He just spent a bunch of random stuff. Lady Bird, really good movie. Fear the Walking Dead. Bro.
Agents of Shield?
Never really been in any like huge roles, it doesn't
No,
seem like. Good for
no,
him.
because I'm pretty sure
He's
that
really goodness.
money guy from Don't Breathe like ran away in the first like 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, or doesn't he get killed straight off or
Something
something?
like that. He's immediately gone somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay. I
Yeah,
think
I thought it was solid.
throw it on. Throw it on.
Yeah. I would probably give it like a 5 or a 6 if I was gonna come down and go. I had it on my I just didn't score it. So I'm looking to see here what I think I liked it better than. I liked it better than, I'll go a 6 on it.
Okay. I was at a 5 for this as well, but now, if I had to watch Wolves or this, oh god. Actually,
Oh
it makes
shit.
sense they're tied. I don't think I could choose between the two.
I think I'm gonna have to go 5 on it 'cause I'm looking at something else I just watched and about the same. So I'm gonna have to go 5 on this.
Okay.
'Cause I think I might actually rather watch the other one more, but that's tough. I'll throw a 5 on it for now.
That'll work. It wasn't going to crack our top 5 anyways.
No, no chance. Filler. That's just padding the stats right there for movies watched on the year.
And Ty, I didn't watch this movie, but you did. Rebel Ridge.
Rebel Ridge. Okay, it's been a while since I watched it. Let me find it on my list here, all the way down here. It had good reviews coming out early from Netflix. It was allegedly one of their better movies in a while, but for me, this one really just fell flat. I think you'd probably fucking really hate it. If I didn't really like it that much, I think you probably really wouldn't like it. It starts off really stereotypical, like for lack of a better words, it's like just the whole police brutality thing. Two white cops pull over a black guy, and he's got a book bag full of money on him, and of course, it's gonna go wrong, and it turns out it just becomes a whole big thing. So, in case nobody knows what movie we're talking about here, it's a former Marine grapples his way through a web of small town corruption when an attempt to post bail for his cousin escalates into a violent standoff with the local police chief. So you can kind of put two and two together and see and think about how it's going to go. It started off slow and stereotypical. It got kind of interesting for a little bit, and then it got completely boring again for me. I really just wanted like some John Wick action, like small town John Wick, like scaled down. But we didn't get anything near that level. It was almost kind of like a legal drama with, again, a black man being like abused by the police, and then there just has to be a girl in that town that's on his side, that's a junkie that works for the police. I wanted to see him get for revenge for what happened to him and all the shit that happened to his cousin too, which is a whole other thing. But and just cut out the rest of the bullshit. But it just got hard to suspend disbelief towards the end too, because he gets into a full like standoff with an entire like police department, and like if that happened, he would just be killed on the spot. They would not give this guy any chance to do anything crazy like get away or anything like that. But yeah, I went 4.8 on it. Some entertaining parts, but a whole lot of shit that I didn't think was good. And it was pretty boring. And honestly, I don't really remember that much of it. So that's that.
Yeah, that probably says a lot. Like, if you can't remember it, like,
Yeah,
oh, what's remember
it wasn't, yeah, nothing really memorable happens. He gets into some shootouts with the cops, and, Don Johnson plays an old cop. And there's a bunch of dickhead country boy cops. It's pretty just stereotypical, but it got really good reviews. I mean,
Yeah.
at the time, it had really high reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Right now, it's got a 6.8 on IMDb. I could check Rotten Tomatoes.
That has come down because I remember when I was watching it, it was like a 7.
On Rotten Tomatoes, it currently has a 95% critic rating, which seems absurdly high to me. Absurdly
Yeah.
high. Probably because of for like what I was saying earlier,
Hmm.
reasons. And then 73% audience. So yeah, tend to be on more on the audience side there, but that's even high to me still. So I think it's like a barely a 5. I think I had so 4.8 or something like that.
But not worth it.
Not worth it now.
That's a shame. Yeah, because it looked decent enough, and it, like you said, getting good reviews, user reviews. I try to ignore the critic reviews because
Yeah.
they use stupid reasons for their
Uh huh.
ratings. But here we are.
Especially because it was going off on Twitter, people calling it one of the best Netflix movies in a while. So I was like, okay, cool. There is apparently a good movie on Netflix right now called Don't Move, though, which I've heard.
I did
You'd
see
wa-
that.
you
It
watched it?
keeps popping up. I have not watched it. I saw it pop up on my. Haven't touched it yet.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll have to have that for the next episode then.
That'll work. Sticking with kind of the Halloween horror genre here, I saw Speak No Evil, which was one I was pretty damn excited for, with James McAvoy, Mackenzie
Hmm.
Davis.
I still haven't seen this one, but I've been dying to see it.
Well, Ty, let me tell you,
Uh,
let me convince you to see or not. So overall, this is a very tense movie. It is a definite slow burn type of movie, but James McAvoy's acting is top. He's an extremely talented actor. He's good at being extremely
hmm
creepy, as we know from Split and Glass.
hmm
He's very good at playing a kind of fucking weirdo. And
Yeah.
that's exactly who he is in this movie. However, it takes a very long time to kind of get into it. But essentially, the story is this family is out in Italy and they
hmm
meet this other family and they just start to kind of get to know each other. James McAvoy's character is like, hey, come stay at our place if you're ever in, I think it was like the UK somewhere. And they're like, oh, okay, we're actually moving there, blah, blah, blah. And so they go to stay with them. And then obviously, as they're staying there, things get weirder and weirder. There's nothing supernatural about it. They're just fucking weird as all hell.
hmm
And you find out some more. So I won't spoil anything there, but they have a kid that he can't speak. He has some disease through all that. So he can't
hmm
speak or anything like that. And he's also creepy. He's also the best fucking kid in the movie because what this movie ended up turning into is how to be a shit parent because
Okay.
both sets of parents are just absolutely terrible for different reasons. Reason number one is, or the first set of parents, they're just mean to their child.
hmm
That one's simple to see. For the people you're supposed to be rooting for, I didn't want to root for them either. They sucked. Like they bugged me the entire movie with how they treated their kid. And essentially because of their kid is the reason shit happened because they wanted just like she's like 12 or something and she still carries around like this teddy bear and they're like, about to be out of there and she's like, I forgot my teddy bear. And they have to go fucking get it. Like, keep driving. Like, do you see what just was going on there? It's one of those weird things where it's almost forced to keep the story going.
Uh
So it
huh.
happen. Um, but overall, I think it's worth watching. It
Okay.
was not my most favorite horror movie recently. And it feels like as I'm running through these, I'm giving fives to everything. That's what I got here as well. However, I think I would want to watch it more than Wolves and Woman of the Hour, just because there is more interest in this.
Yeah.
You kind of get gripped by it. However, that grip does loosen throughout the movie because it's simply too long.
I think I am gonna still watch this
Yeah,
movie. It was getting meme to hell online for just how long we've been seeing the trailer for it, and people
right.
thought it was gonna be ass because of that. And then people, especially on Twitter, did a complete 180 on it, which is rare
Yeah.
to see. So that was exciting to see. So I'm definitely gonna give this one a watch. And I have heard that it's well, it's obviously a remake of like I guess a Dutch movie from like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Dutch one's really fucked up, so maybe worth a watch on that one too. But yeah, I'll still watch this one. I'm thoroughly convinced.
Yeah. I do think you'll like it a lot, honestly.
Okay, cool.
Um, so my next one here is not a horror. It is on Netflix though. His Three Daughters. So this is Carrie Coon, who I don't really know what she's been in. Let's see here. Gone Girl. She's Proxima in Avengers.
Okay.
And then Natasha Lyonne, who is in the American Pie movies, and of
Mhm.
course Elizabeth Olsen, also from the Avengers. But this movie, I did really like this movie quite a bit. I didn't think I was going to. I felt like it was going to be more for like middle-aged women type movie.
Mhm.
But it wasn't. It felt like a play, and that's kind of what I liked most about it. Um, is just how, because it's a play, there's no crazy action or anything like that.
Mhm.
It is just really well written dialogue between a very minimal amount of characters. Like I think there's a total of 7 or 8 people you see on screen. And it's just all about them interacting with each other about so there's 3 daughters, and their dad is dying. And they're all kind of coping with it differently. One
Mhm.
sister's kind of a pothead, so she just wants to be high all the time and not think about it. The other sister's like super caring and loving, wants to go sing to him all the time.
Mhm.
And then you have the super serious sister who's like, we need to figure out what to do when he dies. Who's going to do the funeral? Who's going to pay for this? He has a do not resuscitate. That needs signed. Super all business. And of course, they just kind of collide heads.
Mhm.
So this tends to be a bit more, it's not a happy story by any means.
Right.
It is, quite sad because, like I said, their father is dying, and these are legitimate things that everyone deals with grief differently. And I think
Right.
each actress here does a perfect job portraying the type of grief that they are meant to be displaying. So it's a very dialogue heavy movie. It's definitely tense, but it is also enjoyable. I also
Okay.
think it's good that it wasn't the longest movie. It's only an hour 40, probably
Okay.
less. But yeah, you don't need to like super lock in and sit down for a 2.5 hour long movie like most dramas are. This
Um,
just kind of goes in, gets the job done, you're out.
okay.
But yeah, I ended up at a 7 on this one.
I'm gonna add that to the list. You should. It's Netflix, right?
Yeah, it is Netflix. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna add it to the list. 8 is because I love Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's the
And
best.
she's very good. They're all good.
Uh,
I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people in this movie,
wow.
and one of them doesn't even count.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's solid.
Okay. Sweet. That'll take me to Blink Twice, which feels like it came out forever ago, honestly, and it kind of did. But I finally gave that a watch a couple, I guess, probably a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. This is the one where Channing Tatum is a tech billionaire. His name's Slater King. He meets a cocktail waitress at a fundraising event, and he invites her to join him and his friends on a dream vacation to his private island. And then strange shit starts to happen because, of course, it does. And then Frida starts to question her reality. I enjoyed this one quite a bit more than I thought I was going to. I think just because I'm always a sucker for a good whodunit. But Channing Tatum was especially good in this. It was directed by his now ex fiance Zoe Kravitz, though, so that's kind of interesting. There were definitely some good twists and turns, though, and like crazy reveals in parts where Tay and I both were like, "Holy shit! I can't believe that is what's going on right now." So that was cool. I do think the lead actress felt a little bit miscast, respectfully though, because she hasn't really been in a lot, and she still isn't very well known alongside Tatum. Just felt like they needed someone more on his level, acting wise and kind of looks wise. I mean, he's a good looking guy, he's a hot guy. This girl, to each their own. Yeah, especially for him to be dragging somebody along to this vacation island. I think he needed like a superstar, a supermodel. That's besides the point, though. That's just me. Maybe that can lead into one of our next movies we're talking about later. But I just think this one was solid, though. I liked it quite a bit. I think I went with a 7.9 on it, so damn near an 8.
Nice.
I think it was like 7.9 and 3.5 or so on Letterboxd. I liked it. It was good. It was solid. I think you should throw it on whenever you get a chance if you want to watch a good whodunit. Not in the same realm as Glass Onion or Knives Out, but it's up there. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Sounds good. My next two here, these are, I'll say straight up, these next two
Good luck.
are my favorite movies I've watched since we've been off.
Wow.
These were fantastic, and they're both like children's movies, which that might say a lot. But first one here, Transformers One. So this is the origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron. It's just a fun movie. I really enjoyed it a lot. I wanted more. I didn't want it to be over. It's only an hour 44. Chris Hemsworth plays Optimus Prime, who is Orion Pax at the time. And then
Hmm.
Brian Tyree Henry plays D16, who ends up being Megatron. This gives a lot of origin story, obviously not on just, the big names we already know, but it also goes into like the history of Cybertron, their planet and all that. The ability to transform their founders, who they're actually fighting, because they actually, before they were fighting each other, they had a common enemy. So it goes through all that, which is super interesting because I never knew any of this. They don't cover any of that shit in the Shia LaBeouf movies because no one cared. They just wanted cool cars, Megan Fox, and blowing shit up.
Who doesn't?
That it's fair. That's fair. But Michael Bay did also produce this, which is funny. But this is what do I want to say? The animation is really cool. It is definitely top notch. It's not like, realism Pixar style. But I did like the animation here a lot. It's crisp. The interactions between the characters are super funny. Keegan Michael Key's character, he's Bumblebee, and he's just silly as shit.
That's awesome.
So he is really fun. Chris Hemsworth is really fun. Brian Tyree Henry, all really fun. Scarlett Johansson's in it randomly as well. She's the most serious one. But it is just fun start to finish, quite honestly. I gave it an 8. I really enjoyed this movie. I am imagining they're gonna make a sequel because of course we know Megatron turns bad. That's not a
Hmm.
spoiler for anyone. You
Yeah.
know it's coming to that. It's just how does it come to that? And that's why I didn't go much higher than an 8 is because the how a little
Mhm.
silly. It's kind of forced, drastic.
Mhm.
However, it had to happen. We knew it was coming. It's just a fun ride the entire way.
Yeah. This one was on my list. I just couldn't find a movie time to make it work, which is rare because usually I'm able to find something right after work or sometime in the evening.
Mhm.
There was just nothing. It was always like the most random time. So it was either real early or real late. But now South Pike is opened up again. It's no longer at AMC. It's just South Pike Cinemas again. So now I have that option back again to see
Interesting.
more movies. I saw Venom there, and I was the only person in the theater. And whenever it first started, there was nothing on the screen, and it was dead silent. So I had to go tell the guy, like, "Hey, there's like nothing on." And then I think he skipped all the trailers, which was cool. And then I just got to watch
Nice of
Venom.
them.
So yeah,
Nice.
South Pike's back.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, I do want to see this movie, and I will see it.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch. If any of these you're going to watch, this one or The Wild Robot is the next one I saw here. This movie ruled.
In theater?
I did not. I did
Okay,
not. It became streamable.
I gotcha.
Um, so saw this one. Fantastic movie. Um, Man, I like this more than Transformers. It is a different type of movie. It's not all, super action packed, but there's comedy to it. There's feel good, feel bad type moments. And essentially, the story is this is sometime in the future, and this robot is kind of just like, an I can do everything type robot to help humans. And it gets lost at sea and washes up on some island. I'm assuming it's an island because
Mhm.
it feels like they can't leave. And wakes up and is like, "Hey, I'm here to help. What's up?" And tries to help all these animals and can't understand anything the animals are saying, but tries to like help out. Like a beaver is building a dam or something, and she just completely tears it down. It's like, "You're fucking welcome," and it just keeps walking.
Mhm.
So obviously, she doesn't know what she's there for or to help. And then throughout that, she just keeps getting the piss kicked out of her by all the animals because you're in the wild and the animals will fuck you up. And so that kept happening. And then finally, they learned to speak the language. Because at first, I was confused. I'm like, is there not going to be any actual dialogue in this movie? And I was worried. But no, she does like a little hibernation, I guess we'll call it, and she figures out how to speak to animals. And then it goes forward. But essentially, the story ends up being she is raising a duckling,
Okay,
and the duckling needs to learn how to swim and fly before spring or something, so it can
mhm,
go and migrate with the rest of the ducks.
gotcha.
And that sounds like a super simple story. It is, but the way they do it, you feel it's heartwarming. You might get a little teary eyed at
Mhm.
times, but it is a really enjoyable movie. Pedro Pascal's in it,
Oh,
which
hell
is
yeah.
also super random. I'm like, man, I feel like I know this voice, and I do.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
Mark Hamill, Ving Rhames.
Bing Rames, shout out to him.
So there's a lot of voices in here that you will recognize, but in general, even if you're not a kid, I'm not a kid, I don't have kids, none of that. I just like, yeah, I'll throw this on. This sounds good. It was great. It was fantastic. This is my latest 9 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Like, I talked about a movie that shot into our top 5. This is it.
Hell yeah.
This is now, without your rating, currently sitting at number 4.
Wow.
So if you end up seeing it and give it a rating, that might change. But yeah, I highly recommend this. It's just a chill movie for the most part. Like I said, not action packed like Transformers
Mhm.
1, but it's funny, it's lighthearted, and like I said, it's just enjoyable.
That's awesome. I'm definitely gonna try to watch some of these this week while Tay leaves for work. But yeah, is this the year of robot movies? People are
It
wondering.
fucking seems like it, yeah.
Fucking seems like it. Okay, that'll take me to Smile too. It was one I had low expectations for. The first one was a solid horror. I liked it decently enough. I didn't think it was like a world ender or anything like that. But this one did come out perfect timing for Halloween too, which was nice. And right away, I was hooked. I'm glad I did a quick refresher to see how the first one ended because this one picks up pretty much right where that left off. And
Oh,
like we were talking about Woman of the Hour or whatever, this is a good one. It doesn't say years later, it's like 5 days later or something like that
good.
or whatever. It's just like right here is when that's all you needed to know. And it starts off strong. It's just violent and brutal, and then it sets the tone for the whole movie. It has some, like I said, brutal scenes, and it does such a good job with that. And it does a really good job with the jump scares too, because it doesn't use them a lot, but whenever it does them, god damn it, like I fucking like damn near screamed in the movie theater. And I think a couple other people did too. Um, but yeah, it does a really good job too, not only with just the horror movie of the horror aspect of the movie, but the aspect of it's a famous person whose life is being ruined and we're watching it fall apart like publicly. And it makes you genuinely cringe at times. Like there's a part where she's like on stage at like a gala for like sick kids or whatever, and she's being like I don't know, possessed or whatever, tormented by like this demon, and her teleprompter quits working, and so she has to just freeball this speech, and that was cringy as hell before even anything bad started happening, and then it starts telling her to say just completely off the walls shit, and then eventually she starts freaking out, and she fucking shoves a grandma off the stage, and you're just
Oh,
like oh, you're just watching this like you're watching her be tormented by like a demon or whatever, but it's also like her life falling apart. It's funny. It's funny. It's so cringy. But this is definitely what Trap wanted to be as far as horror movies with pop stars in it.
okay.
Because Trap was, I mean, I guess it wasn't really quite a horror movie, it was more of a thriller, but this was a much better movie than that. Consider me shocked and surprised that I really like this movie. I thought it was one of the better horror movies of the year in a year that there's quite a lot of good horror movies. It's definitely kind of be rewatchable too. I feel like I would definitely watch this one at least another time. I went 8.3 on it.
Hell yeah,
I
okay.
think you should definitely watch it. I'm
That,
not sure when it'll be streaming, probably pretty soon, but I think you should definitely give it a go.
okay. Yeah, I was worried, quite honestly, because I
Mhm.
I wasn't a fan of the first one.
Yeah.
I
Like I said,
didn't
I
think
didn't
it was
love
anything
it.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think if I had to give the first one, I think it'd probably be a 5 or a 6, but yeah, this one completely blew me away.
What was that rating you gave it?
8.3.
8.3. That's gonna be up there as well. That let's see if that put that in the top 5. Very, very close. Very close.
Okay.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, they were doing advertising then where people would stand in these skyscraper buildings
Uh-huh. And
and
just do
just
the smile.
smile. Mhm.
Dude, see, it did a good job like that. Kind of like Long Legs where whenever you're walking out, you're kind of like unsettled. And,
Yeah.
I was just waiting to look around and see some people smiling at me like that because I would have genuinely freaked
Ugh.
the fuck out. I went into a Giant Eagle afterwards, and it was super crowded, and I was like, "One of these fuckers is gonna turn and look at me the wrong way, and it's gonna scare the shit out of me." But, yeah, definitely check that one out as soon as possible, I think,
Okay,
before the Halloween season is officially over, even though it probably is, but,
for sure.
well, it's still spooky season.
The movie also has Kyle Gallner in it, who plays Joel in that movie, and he also stars in Strange Darling, which I saw.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I love Kyle Gallner. I think he deserves a lot more recognition and to be in a lot bigger movie. So a lot of the things he's in, they're a little smaller. Smile's probably the biggest thing he's in.
Oh, yeah, this guy's cool as hell. Yeah,
Yeah,
it took me a second to realize who you're talking about. Yeah, this guy's awesome.
yeah, he rules. He was in this Dinner in America movie out of nowhere. I only watched it because of Snack Shack, which I saw
Mhm.
earlier this year. It's the same director, but Dinner in America is absolutely fantastic. He's great in that. And then coming up here in Strange Darling, he was really good in this too. So this is going to be a hard one to talk about because it is short and I don't want to spoil anything. So I'm going to say see it. It's
Yeah,
what
okay.
I'm going to say. I'm going to start off with that. Definitely see it. It is a trip for
Wait,
sure.
is this Strange Darling?
Strange Darling, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It is a massive trip. It jumps all over the place in terms of like sequence, but it's good at telling you. it
Mhm.
tells you, it puts a number up 1, 5, 3, and like you'll
Mhm.
know the order it comes together. And with each additional piece, you learn something else and you're like, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
It gets really good. Just to kind of, again, without spoilers, his name in the movie, he doesn't have a real name, but he's credited as the demon.
The demon, okay.
So that's his credited name in this. So it is a really good thriller. It's different. It's different.
Okay.
There aren't many movies that try to do what this one did, and it
That
works
gets me
out pretty well.
excited.
It does say at the very beginning of the movie, it has like little credits and talks about a serial killer that's gone state to state on this spree. This is told from the accounts of survivors and police officials, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh shit, this is a fucking true story. It's not. It is not.
Oh, okay.
I,
Okay.
I had to look that up, and I'm like, they can just say that, and then yes, they can. So it's not actually a true story, but it doesn't matter because it's super cool. It is very interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that one. We don't have to go too far into it because I'm gonna watch it probably this week.
And I can't go too far into it because there's like every little piece is a spoiler.
Uh,
So I'll just stick with that and say, see it.
okay, we'll do.
And then I got the last two here. So this is all me the rest of the way. I saw Joker 2.
Oh boy.
I did see it. I sat on my hands for a while because I'm like, I don't want to see this. Everyone's just shitting on it. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's going to be bad, and it's not a short movie, so
Right.
I can't. I don't want to waste my time. Did it for the pod.
Huh?
Sat my ass down. I was sick, and
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it. I'll make it feel worse. So I texted you. I'm like, I'm 15 seconds in. I fucking hate how this started.
Boy.
And the reason being is they did like the intro where it's like, oh, it's the Joker, but it's like fucking Looney Tunes animated.
My.
And I'm like, what's happening? And then it was like a long intro. And part of me was like, I know this is bad. How long is it going to be like this?
Mhm.
And it was decently long. It was like 3 to 5 minutes that it was in this Looney Tune type update of what's happened with
Hmm.
the Joker since the last movie. And I'm like, good God, that's fucking stupid. But
Mhm.
then it actually gets into the movie. He's in Arkham. And I'll be honest, I started to really like it.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe it's not as bad as everyone's saying. I'm like, I don't know, 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, or something like that, and they haven't really sang.
That's what
Like
I
there's
was
no
thinking. Maybe I would like it even though other people didn't.
Yeah. And so like there's no singing going on. And I'm like, okay, so people really over exaggerated this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then he meets Lady Gaga. And she is awful. She is the worst part of this movie. They literally only put her in it because she can sing. She is not a good actress. She's just annoying and over exaggerating in every little thing she does throughout this movie. Joaquin's still Joaquin, it's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
as soon as he meets her, and you're like, oh, that's the point. He falls in love and then he starts singing. I'm like, yeah, but no. So like they do. They just start randomly singing. And there's times where like it's fake. He's just singing in his head. And it's times that it's real. And
Um,
again, I'm like, whatever. I'll just like fast forward through it. And I did. And I felt like I didn't miss anything
mm,
when I fast forwarded that. And I'm like, if I can fast forward through these parts and not miss anything, that means it shouldn't be in the movie.
yeah.
So there's a lot of stupid shit like that. And again, it was okay. I was ready to give it about like a 5, 6. The ending, the last 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, yeah, you guys completely ruined all of that. And I ended up at a 3.
I
So,
did see a spoiler for like how it ends, and if it ends like
yeah,
if it is the ending, I think it is, then it's fucking ridiculous.
it it was just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, like it's one thing to do that, like for example, the original Joker. It's getting pressed up, it's getting tense, he's getting hyped up, he's gonna do something crazy, he's gonna kill someone or more
Mm-hmm.
people. And he does. That doesn't happen in this movie. There's no like real build up to like, oh, something crazy is gonna happen. It
Uh
just
huh.
happens. And
Wow.
it was annoying. So it wasn't great. I don't recommend seeing it. If you are gonna see it, I would kind of do the skip through method
Okay.
because some of it's really good. Some of it's really good, like extremely good. He sits down to do an interview and It's just Joaquin getting into the mindset of the Joker, being
Hmm.
nuts. He gets back to the laughing, and it's really good. It's this really powerful back and forth dialogue and him just getting into being a crazy person. He does it extremely well. And
Hmm.
then there's other parts where you're just like, okay, shut the fuck up. So it's a shame. This movie definitely could have been very, very good. And I honestly have no idea why they went this route.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that dude was thinking. All he had to do was like be a somewhat competent filmmaker and like kind of follow up on what he did with the first one.
Yep.
And he just completely just told everybody to go fuck themselves, it feels
It
like, which is really fucking lame.
it went to his head.
Yeah. So this was one that I did plan on seeing for the pod no matter what, but it was another one with
Yeah.
time just didn't add I could not find a showing at a decent time. Which is
You're right.
crazy because it was the biggest movie out for I don't know, a week until everybody realized it sucked and then it
Yeah.
wasn't playing
What's
anymore.
funny is like it's one of those things that like they knew it sucked too, like Joaquin and
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, like they were filmed.
Yeah, I saw it like at the premiere, like
It's
it was
like
like it's terrible.
that's terrible. Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's like the Game of Thrones reactions of the
Yeah.
actors. They're like, what did we fucking make? And then my last one here, what did I say? I gave it 3. Yeah, I said that.
But yeah, okay.
Um, my last one here, just in time for election day. I saw The Apprentice, the Donald Trump movie about him in the 70s, getting to know this lawyer, Ron, the hell is his name?
Mhm.
Ron Cohen. Roy Cohen, not Ron. Roy
Okay.
Cohen, who's played by Jeremy Strong from the Succession
Yeah, yep.
on HBO. He's extremely good. He's very good. Sebastian Stan, they got the look down pretty good. He didn't do the voice, so it was kind of hard to see him as Trump. He didn't do the voice, but his mannerisms and the look, very good. Sebastian Stan did a good job.
Okay.
Um, I like this movie. For the most part, I liked it. You know, there's comments of this is the movie Trumpers MAGA doesn't want you to see. They don't want you about this. And like I'm like, all right, it's gonna be one of those movies just kind of shitting on him. It kind of wasn't for most of it, I would say.
Mhm.
I think it just kind of shows how he became a harsh, tough businessman. That was kind
Mhm.
of the point. Think of the Many Saints of Newark,
Okay.
like who made Tony Soprano, but better.
Yeah. I
That's what
gotcha.
this was. With that said, it wasn't anything fantastic, wasn't amazing. The acting with Sebastian Stan, Jeremy Strong, both good performances. However,
I do like both of those actors.
yeah, they were both very good. Someone said someone who knew both Trump and Roy Cohen said that Jeremy Strong's performance was scary, spot on.
Wow.
But it's kind of like two movies in one, or rather, it feels like there were two different directors. Because the first one, like I said, it's not really shitting on Trump. It's just kind of yeah, it makes fun of him. It's going to,
Uh,
but it's really more. This is what's going on. Him and his dad company, they're getting sued for being racist, not letting people rent in their buildings, something like that.
mhm.
And then this Roy guy comes around who's like one of the most powerful lawyers ever. And he basically gets him out of it. And Donald Trump is like, how the fuck you do that? I want to learn. And so Roy kind of teaches him to be ruthless. And so like that rise part was really interesting. And then the end, it's just kind of like he gets married. Trump gets married, and then it's like immediately he's a completely different person.
Huh.
And I'm like, wait, what? No, how did that change happen so quickly? Because then he's an asshole. He immediately says he doesn't want to be with his wife anymore. It's like right after getting married, there's like a time gap, and it just completely shifts, and it's nothing but negativity the rest of the way through. And now, like,
Mhm.
there's going to be negativity. I don't care one way or another. I'm very central. Vote however the fuck you want to vote. But I'm here for a good movie. I want to be entertained. I was
Mhm.
entertained for 75% of the movie, and then it became a smear campaign.
Okay, I
I'm
see.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you can do this without being over exaggerating. Because I looked up some of the things that happened in this movie. I'm like, holy fuck, did this happen? And they're like, no, but one person said this happened, and one person said that happened, and so they took that and ran with it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. But overall, I didn't hate it. It isn't a movie that, the MAGA's going to hate. It's not a movie that Democrats are going to love. It's
Mhm.
neither. It's just an okay movie. And I ended up at a 6 out of 10.
Okay. I'll probably end up watching that too. And also, we have to do a pod soon because I need to watch the Olivia Rodrigo concert on Netflix and talk about it because I know it's going to be great.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Huge fan. I'm so glad that's out there, and I keep forgetting to put it on. So I'm pumped about that, and I'm gonna give it a 10.
Fuck it. But Ty, we got 3 full reviews. In the sake of time, let's go spoilers for everything. So, people,
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah.
want to hear spoilers, we're gonna do Terrifier 3, The Substance, and Venom, Last Dance. If you don't want to be here, we'll see you next time, hopefully soon. And
Probably.
let's kick it off with Terrifier 3.
Okay, so I think about this one, and I knew it was gonna be more over the top than 2 from what I'd seen online, and I thought they'd take it up a notch. Not even just with blood and gore, which I think was still worse in 2. I think there was more blood and gore in
Yeah, I
2.
think they toned it down.
But in this one, they weren't afraid to do what most movies don't, and I bet you know what I'm gonna say.
Yes.
Just kill kids, like violently kill children.
Yeah.
Like at the opening scene of the movie is him like killing an entire family, 2 of which are young kids. You
Yeah.
just hear him smashing the kid with a like a hatchet. So that was a wild way to start the movie. This one didn't really have that shocking scene that stood out like 2 did with the peeling of the skin and the salt and stuff like that, which was just so over the top and
Yeah.
crazy. This one did have the shower scene, which
Yeah.
it was definitely fucked up, but I mean, he just killed him with a chainsaw and like cut the dude's dick off, whatever. You know what he's going to do. But in the second one, he literally like that scene where he puts his assault on the girl is like literally like
Yeah.
10 minutes long, and it's
Like,
so drawn out and over the top
fucking
that it's like it was nuts. He puts like vinegar and salt on the girl. He doesn't do anything so like crazy in this one that makes you like holy shit.
yeah.
I mean, I guess like blowing up 15 kids with like a box is like on par with that if you think about it, like
Sure.
kind of, but like there was not like that scene that stood out in this one though that's like holy shit, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you there. And like they say this one is better. And I just don't see it. I like the second one a lot more.
I did too. I did too.
I felt like the Christmas theme didn't really work.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. It didn't
because if
have to
they
be Christmas themed.
it didn't. Because if they were gonna go Christmas theme, they should have leaned a bit more into the Christmas.
Yeah, the only
Uh,
thing that was Christmassy about is the fact that he was wearing the Santa outfit and the fact that it was December in the movies.
and he pissed on Santa Claus. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was okay. Definitely I might say it's the worst in the series, honestly.
It honestly might be. I think it's definitely a step down from 2, which I thought was a step up from 1. It might be the worst out of the 3 so
Yeah.
far, honestly, because the first one set it all off and it was way more grounded and down to earth, even though, I mean,
Right.
it was still about like a paranormal clown or whatever, but still. This one, it just felt like a step down from 2. And I mean, they had everything we kind of expected, but I didn't like that it was more about that family almost and the Sienna girl,
Right. I don't care.
who I'm convinced she's not even a good actress. I think she just
Yeah.
has the role, so they had to keep her going, and now she's just stuck in it.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm glad
Her
they're not.
brother
Yeah,
reminds me of Cordave, what the fuck's his name? From Kill Tony, the he's
yeah,
like
yeah,
20 something, but he looks like he's 12. That's who
yeah. I
her
know
brother
exactly what
looks
you're talking
like.
about. That's a good
Sounds
call.
like him too.
I was thinking that too. And then he just gets killed off screen. I think that was him, right? They just like fucking wiped him out.
I maybe, but like that's the thing about these like quote unquote main characters. They
Uh
just
huh.
keep coming back.
Yeah, I
So
will
I
say
honestly don't know.
the chick from the first one that ended up being like completely disfigured. She's in the second one. She's in this one too. She is terrifying looking. I fucking hate that
Yeah.
lady. Oh my god, the one eye. She looks all fucked up. In this one, she pulls a what movie am I thinking of? She pulls an Exorcist, but with a piece of glass.
Yeah.
That was sick. What's up? And they also didn't like they had the big emphasis on like the little girl, like Terrifier girl art. In the
Yeah.
second one,
It's
she just
like this
wasn't in this
little
one.
she's like the little demon thing that like I don't know. I can't say brings him back to life, but like it's
Yeah,
he just sees her now.
yeah. Was she in this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I must not have been paying
Yeah,
attention.
I'm pretty sure she was at least. At least I
Okay.
think that's who that was.
I thought I just wasn't paying attention. I must have just like blacked it out. I didn't realize she was in this one too. But
I think the other problem with this movie is, like you said, they kind of they be more story
yeah,
focused, but it didn't work.
Right. That's exactly what I was gonna say. You don't need to have story with this. You just need to have the ridiculousness of art killing people
Yeah,
and the violence. Which I get what they have to try to have some kind of story, but I'm here to watch the violence. I'm here to watch all that.
right.
That's what everybody's here for.
And that's what the second one did well. It's like
Uh-huh.
there was a story, and actually the story of the second one was better than this.
Uh-huh.
Because what I don't like, and this is feeling like a supernatural Scream movie,
Yeah.
if that makes sense,
Uh-huh.
where he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to kill the same fucking person every single movie."
Uh-huh.
Why? Why do you
Right.
care? It's like, yeah, she's the one that killed you, I guess, but like, why do you care?
Yeah. But all in all, like I'm glad they were like not afraid to push the envelope and kill a bunch of kids, which is fucked up, but still just not as good as two in my opinion. I ended up going with a 6 on this one.
Okay, I was not as nice.
Okay.
I gave it a 2.
Two,
I just
okay.
was not impressed by it for the most part. Like there
Yeah.
were yeah, there was just a lot I didn't care about. It didn't keep my
Uh-huh.
interest. I
You're
was
not
just
wrong.
waiting for the bathroom scene because I that's all I heard about.
Uh-huh.
And then we got there and I'm like, man, that was fucked. But also it wasn't as fucked as the sum of everything that happened in 2,
Not at all. See, you're
you
right.
know?
See, I feel like I'm being too high on it with a 6. I might have to drop it down too. We'll see
Really?
how I end up with it by the end of the year. But yeah, not as far as the Terrifier series go, it's the weakest one for sure, I think now.
Yeah, I think it has to be. And because of that, like I think I gave 2 a like I didn't think it was it's not these aren't amazing movies. They're not meant to be.
Right. They're not, yeah.
Um
They're like horror porn.
yeah.
War porn,
And
pretty
so
much.
I think I gave 2 like a 5,
Yeah. I'm not
before.
sure. I think I might have gave two like something high. I gotta look and see now.
Yeah.
I think I gave two something decently high. Not like high, but like 7 or 8.
High enough, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go back and try to find it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a movie to throw on with your buddies. Keep
Yeah.
her
I mean, yeah, if you like these kind of movies, you're gonna like this one.
yeah,
Just I don't know, you won't like it that much, I guess.
not as good.
Yeah.
Just have your expectations set. Because I think that was the other thing. I think we were very hyped for
I
this
think
movie.
everybody was. Yeah.
And exactly, everyone was. And they tried to keep the hype going with the TikToks of people are leaving, people are throwing out. They do that for every movie. They do that for Saw.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
not a unique thing.
Yeah. I mean, Saw 10 had a
Yeah,
grosser kill. The
yeah, the goo.
fucking bone marrow. So just
It's
for like context, it has a 6.6 on IMDb.
that's shocking.
One has a for whatever reason two won't pop up. One only has a 5.5.
Yeah.
Let's
2 is a 6.1.
6.1. Okay.
Mhm.
So I guess technically it is like on the IMDb scale the highest.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I didn't I completely disagree.
Yeah,
It's on, and it's streamable now, isn't it?
it
I think
probably
it's
is.
on I think it's on Amazon.
There was a lot of funny like little nods to, like The Shining and stuff, but they do
Yeah,
this in every
fair
movie.
enough.
Like the next one we're going to talk about, are we doing Substance next? Because that's definitely
Let's go right
there's a lot of
right
Shining
through
references into
keep it with the
Substance.
gross.
Yeah. So I'm going to come out and say it. I thought that they were trying to make the horniest movie of all time with this movie.
They tried?
I mean,
Yeah,
my
they
word.
tried.
Yeah, it was just and then I realized as I was writing it, it was directed by a lady. So I was shocked because I thought for sure it was just a guy that was in love with Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, who I can't blame him. But
Yeah.
shout out to her
She
because Once Upon a
well,
Time in Hollywood, Sanctuary, she's the man. Well, she's the lady, but she's the shit. Um, but in terms of when, I guess I could see it now though. Like I thought it was just gonna be a horny guy that wanted to do this because he thought they
right,
were hot. But now I can flip flop and see this lady did it because of in terms of women how they feel about their bodies and how they
right.
look and gender and all that body dysmorphia. It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I watched this movie, with my brother and his wife and
mhm.
mine, and, yeah, that was a fun one because him and his wife just saw Terrifier 3.
Uh
And his wife was all pissed. She's like, "Why the fuck you take me to this shit?" And then
huh.
we watched this, and she's like, "What the fuck?
My
What
gosh,
are you making us watch?"
I think this had more of over the top violence and blood at least than Terrifier 3 did.
I
Not
didn't
violence,
expect
not even violence.
I
Yeah, I
didn't
guess.
expect the thing to pop out of her fucking back. So she takes a drug to basically make a younger version of herself, which that's also kind of confusing. So like throughout the movie, they're like, "You are not separate. You are one." But
Yeah.
it didn't feel like they weren't. They were definitely separate of mind.
Yeah, yeah.
right? But they
That's why
were
she was
one
able to do what
body.
she. That's why she started to do what she did. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it took a second for me to get that. I'm like, "Wait a minute, he keeps saying they're one. Why
Mhm,
is she doing this to herself?" She wasn't.
mhm. But then it reminded me kind of Infinity Pool, not on the same
Yeah.
aspect, but they started doing. In the end, she does a clone of a clone because she's essentially a
Right.
clone, and she does it to herself, and that's when you get the monstrosity, which was fucking crazy.
Yeah, just a big old bubble monster.
But yeah, I mean, I can see why it won the best screenplay at Cannes Film Festival,
Yeah.
and it had crazy good reviews going into it. But yeah, I mean, I was like blown away by this. Let me see what else I have here.
This is
It
gonna
was
be this might be I don't you know what? I don't think it should be that controversial, but I think Dennis Quaid might have been the best actor in this movie.
oh, that might be controversial.
Because,
He
like
was really good though because what he was doing. I think they just kind of made him like the Harvey Weinstein, like gross thing.
exactly, he was
And it
just
was disgusting.
wild.
Disgusting. Watching him eat that shrimp was just as disgusting as
Oh,
watching
yeah.
anything else. It was sickening.
And
So that
also,
was
like,
good.
that's a role he never does.
No, no, he's always like a good, like fun dad.
Yeah, he was the fucking rookie. You
Yeah,
know, his
he's a
dad
sick
telling him to
pig
put
in this
fingers
one. A
and
gross fucking pig.
he was just Ronald Reagan in the
Yeah,
movie. So, yeah, this was I did not expect him to see him, and he was wild and he was good.
yeah. This was somehow one of the grossest but hottest movies I've ever seen. And then like at the end, it just got so over the top and crazy at the end with like between her pulling the
Oh,
teeth
yeah.
out and then like and then once the monstrosity comes out, it's just disgusting looking.
Yeah,
And then
but she
like
kept going.
once she starts beating the shit out of like Elizabeth, it's all Tarantino esque, like blood, violence all
Yeah,
over the place. Like that was fucking great. I did think the ending dragged on a bit,
sure.
and it was so incredibly loud and over the top that I just started laughing. I couldn't be mad about it being long anymore. I was just like, holy shit, this is just ridiculous. My
Yeah.
jaw was dropped at what I was watching. I was like, oh my god, was it loud as hell or was that just me?
It was pretty loud, especially when they would jump to the, like, filming scenes
Yeah.
or anything. It just would, like, jump up in volume, like, "Whoa."
Yeah,
But
like in the end, whenever they're like killing the fucking monster on stage, it's just like so loud, blood everywhere.
mhm.
It was really funny. But
The, yeah, we were cracking up when she first goes to take the drug,
uh-huh.
and it's just showing her ass, and we're like, "Why does she only have 1 ass cheek?" I don't think that was actually Demi Moore's ass because that was a bad ass, and then Sue comes out, and we're like, "Ah, they fixed it. They give her both ass cheeks. She's good now."
I didn't even realize that. That's funny.
But, yeah, that was good. I liked it. It was different.
Definitely
I
different.
I'm with you on the too long.
Yeah. The
It
ending
was
was
2 and a half.
really, really like too long.
And there was too much of the same shit kinda over and over. Like, I
Uh-huh.
think if you woulda cut that, okay, we get it, maybe you shave 15 minutes or something.
Yeah. I think they definitely could have saved up some time there, here and there. But I did like this one quite a bit, all that considered. Um, I went 9 on it.
Okay, I was at a 7.
I went 9. So I don't like it as much as Bike Riders, though. So it's lower than Bike Riders, but it's still in that
Okay.
9 category.
Okay, fair
Definitely
enough.
another great horror movie for the year. Even though it's not really quite horror, it's just like over the top, like ridiculousness horror. Like horror like Smile 2. Smile 2 is really fucking good.
Yeah, and, like, for the genre, I try to put a genre on all of these things. I didn't know what to put it. I think I ended up yeah, I put it as a thriller.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
That
sense.
feels more accurate.
Psychological thriller almost, yeah.
Right. Body horror. Yeah.
Body horror
Definitely
for
that.
sure.
Definitely that.
Definitely. There seems like there's one of these that pop up every year. A body horror movie. And everybody's like, oh, body horror.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know.
Ty, one more to go here. Venom, The Last Dance. I just watched this a couple days ago. I believe you saw it, what, a week or so? I think did you see
Yeah,
it right when it came out?
I saw it in the theater. I think I saw it a couple days after it came out or so, but I stand by the take that this is the worst possible fucking title that they could have gave this movie and actually kept it. And then whenever they actually say the last dance in the
They
movie, it was so stupid.
yeah, it was a bit painful. The
I'm gonna be the first one to say, like, I've been a bit of a sucker for these movies. I've seen all 3 in
sure.
theaters, whatever. The first one was being the best, even though it wasn't that great. The second one was completely shit. And now this, which is better than the second
Yes.
somehow, but worse than the first for sure. I mean, still quite terrible in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I feel like I was just kind of trying to enjoy it, have a good time. I ended up at a dude. I feel like everything. We rated so many movies today, and the amount of times I said 5, like I feel
Mhm.
like I have a problem. But that's where I ended up at. I like it was just okay. It kept me somewhat interested, but there's a lot of stupid fucking parts.
Yeah,
Like
I feel like I definitely could have wrote a better fucking Venom than this a Venom movie than this, especially given the fact that it's the end of the trilogy, quote unquote.
he doesn't fight anyone. He only fights like
The
the
fucking
drug cart.
little shit guys and like little
Yeah,
like bet. It was so stupid. Like you're
like
going such a whimper.
when all of the symbiotes are whooping the shit out of the big thing. I can't even remember
I don't
what
even
they're
know what they're
called.
called either.
But when they were beating the shit out of it, he was fucking watched.
Yeah,
And
there's
like the
hardly
whole
any Venom in
time,
this movie.
and then he ends up grabbing it with his stickiness all by himself and dragging it to the reactor or whatever the
Yeah, it's like why couldn't fucking 6 of you do that and
yeah.
then not all die?
I think if you would have helped at all, you'd be okay.
Yeah, it was so
But no, he just watched.
so
He's
dumb.
saying that he went over and saved that little stupid family and then went and never came back. He's like, all right,
Speaking of this
now let's
family,
hide.
speaking of this fucking family, why did they even cast that guy to be in this movie again? That it was already he was already in.
He was a lizard.
Yeah, he was the lizard in the spider. So why did they do that to be like some doofy hippie character?
Uh,
It's just such a miscast and a waste of that guy. I feel like that guy's a
yeah,
good actor. That was such a stupid fucking role for him.
it was weird.
But I'm gonna start it back at the beginning because the beginning of this movie was so fucking stupid. He was like, "I am null." Fuck,
Oh
that
my
was so
god.
corny and lame.
Yeah, and then like,
And he's voiced by you would have guessed it, Andy Serkis, who just fucking
no, of
voice
course,
rolls everything.
he's in everything. And
Um,
it's Black. He was in Black Panther, right?
yeah, he was just a straight up actual guy in that for
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know. It felt like they could have done more with it, and they
yeah,
just
like I said,
chose not
there
to.
was just hardly any Venom in it. Like you get Tom Hardy, who I do like, and he does a
Yeah,
good job in these movies, given the terrible script and the terrible fucking directing or
right.
whatever it is. I stand by the fact that I could have wrote a better fucking
Yeah.
end of this movie.
It was really funny to me that when they're in Vegas, they go to the Paris, which is where I stayed when we were young, and like they kicked them out. They're like, Paris has a strict dress code. I'm like, the fuck it does. Like you can see the people that walk around. No,
That's so funny. It was kind of funny when they were like venomizing different animals and shit, but that
yeah,
kind of
there's
got
a
old.
whole fish.
Yeah, the horse and the fish and the frog.
That was the other thing that was fucking stupid. So he became the horse and was all fast and everything. And then at like near the end, for some reason they wanted to ride a motorcycle. And I'm like, aren't you like faster than the motorcycle?
Right.
And then the girl Venom, who I think is Misery, I might be wrong, was running right next to him. It's like, wait, you're definitely that fast. Why are you
Yeah.
riding a motorcycle?
It was just all over the place in terms of that. And then one other thing I had right about this was that dudes that wear Cookie Monster hat and Osiris shoes and pajama pants in public or to school love these movies.
They wear like the full zip up hoodies that go to the top of your head into the Venom face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. There was
Um,
just oh
that's
my god. In the ending, they couldn't have picked a cornier fucking song with the flashbacks montage.
yeah, God.
That song was so fucking lame.
I didn't think that was the actual like, movie.
I didn't think it was the actual ending either.
I was
They
like,
didn't even they didn't even tease like that Venom is the symbiote is still alive.
yeah,
It was just him fucking
fuck
at
it.
the Statue of Liberty after that fucking lame ass song plays like I'll remember you, buddy. I'll
Yeah.
fucking remember you.
I thought he was going to turn into the Statue of Liberty as
Yeah, or
yeah.
something, or do anything. Or I thought they were gonna tease it like that Eddie Brock is working at the Daily Bugle now or something like that.
Right.
Do anything.
Run into Spider-Man, you know.
That would have been a fucking banger way to end that movie.
Yeah.
Instead, it just goes on such a
don't know,
fucking
man.
whimper to end this trilogy, apparently. Who
And
knows?
they
We'll see. Even I
it's
guess
funny.
it apparently already made his money back, so
I just looked at my Letterboxd review and I wrote one sentence: the editor needs fired. And what's funny
Yeah.
is I don't even really remember why. Yeah, I think there was a lot of like random cuts flipping back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening? Then
yeah, I mean, just all around fucking dumb. I think I went 5 on it, but that seems high
I also
now.
went 5. Yeah.
I think I
I
went
could
to
note it
5.
again.
It's like it needs to be probably lower than that, but it's a 5 as it stands. I
It's
saw
like that
today. I saw today that I don't. know if this is true or not. Apparently, they're gonna do a Sinister Six movie, and Null is gonna be the main villain, and then it's gonna be like
What?
Venom and whoever else against Null. And they're gonna do like the anti-heroes against Null. I don't know. It's gonna be fucking dumb. We'll see. But I would be shocked if that's actually the end of these movies, giving it just made
Yeah.
a shitload of money. But I mean, that was just terrible.
It was a bad way to like, we saw the trailer, like, man, that looks stupid.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have high hopes for this movie at all. I mean, it's
No.
called The Fucking Last Dance.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
that's the
mean,
thing. The
yeah,
Michael Jordan documentary, now everyone
yeah,
like when with Brady, they're like, "Oh, it's Tom Brady's last dance." And now I'm like, "Fuck, that's just everyone's going to say that for
everything's The
everything."
Last Dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, what else? There was one more thing I think I wanted to say. I can't remember what I was going to say. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, just,
Every actor was from the UK.
yeah.
The girl, the doctor, she's awful.
Oh, yeah. What was the
She
point
was
of her?
horrible. She was horrible. Like, she
Her
needs to
point
go
of
back.
her was just to have a one armed lady around.
Yeah. She
Like, who
oh,
gives a fuck that she got
bad.
shot by lightning with her brother on the beach? What was the point of that?
Yeah. And like even just the straight up acting, everything she said was dumb, and she's supposed to be the smart doctor. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if it was the writer that was bad with her or her like couldn't get the accent, so she just sounded dumb.
Yeah.
Like I know her as Keely from the oh shit, the soccer show that's all happy. Ted Lasso. She's in that. So that's what I know her from. And like she
Hmm.
plays a ditzy little person in that. And then they just go complete opposite and it didn't work. And it didn't work, you know, obviously she can act, but something was wrong. Everything she said
Yeah.
just was dumb.
Yeah. And looking now, I didn't know this was directed by and it was she's known for directing 50 Shades of Grey writing. Oh, she wrote 50 Shades of Grey. She wrote
Oh,
Venom Let There
God.
Be Carnage, wrote Venom Last. Why did she get this?
Okay, you answered my question.
Wait, never mind. It's I don't think it was directed by her, was it? It was directed by her. What the fuck?
Yeah, there you go.
I think this is her
Yeah,
directorial
thank you.
debut. This is her directorial debut.
Yep. Yeah, hey, you know the person that wrote 50 Shades of Grey? Let's give her a Marvel movie.
I don't get it.
Yeah, nope, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Let's
Directed
give her
by
the last.
Kelly Marcel.
Has she done anything good? Cruella was okay, but
Is
everything
he?
else, no.
Well, I thought she was married to Tom Hardy. She's not.
That'd be funny.
Let's see here. She made her directorial debut with Venom Last Dance. Okay, so that's like, what the fuck? Why? Why were they, of all the people they could have let direct this movie, why just her? Because she's passionate about the movie, I guess. She's like, I really like Venom.
Venom's my thing.
I
Yeah,
don't even
yeah,
know.
I don't know, but it also
I
that
like Tom
explains why
Hardy though. He still is the man. I
it
fucking
explains
love
why
Tom Hardy.
everyone's from the UK because she is. So they
Yeah.
just hired only people from the UK. I
Well,
hate to end
unlike
her on
that
a somber
movie,
note.
this will not be our last dance.
All right, let's get out of here, Ty. There's better movies to see, and we'll get back to it.
I need to
Now
watch.
watch some foosball.
I need to watch. Yeah, let's go watch some Monday Night Football, and all my bets are already looking like shit.
Fuck, I haven't looked and I'm scared too. So
Only
we'll see if I'm
73.
happy tonight.
7-3. Okay, over's looking dead. It's dead.
It's there's hope. There's hope. But all right, Ty. We'll be back next time.
Next time.